So a big thank you to all of you who requested a review of my Curve Belgie Disc. So I have come to a very special location here in deepest, darkest Hertfordshire. This is a place I know you can reenact a perfect Belgian summer's day. And there's no better climate, no better roads to test the Belgie out on than these Flandrian roads, or Hertfordshire equivalent. So without further ado, let's do this review. So let's talk about this little beauty. So I guess it makes sense to start with the kit that I've got on this bike, but that is obviously very much personal preference. But I'll give you this just for sort of, for completeness of story. So I'm riding with Ultegra Di2 hydraulic, which I think is just freaking stunning. Garmin Vector pedals, Vector 2s. Curve's own wheels, I forget now, I think these are the 32s or 38mm deep carbon rim disc wheels, which I'm a big fan of, we can talk about that. A 3T bars and stem, and a physics saddle. But all of that really is peripheral to the main event, which is the frame really, and that's what differentiates this bike from any other. But yeah, the frame is where it's at, and you'll have seen the close-ups. The quality of the weld, quality of the finishing is exceptional. You can get up to a 32mm tyre with these forks, which in this day and age is pretty sweet. And at the moment I'm only riding 25s, but I'm going to switch to some 28s probably next week. But that's the kind of versatility that you've got. With all that being said, what you really want to know is what it rides like. And there are two things for me that make this bike freaking awesome in my humble opinion. And that's versatility and the quality of the ride. The quality of the ride, if you've ridden titanium, good quality steel, there's just something about it. There's a slight hum when you're riding it. The metal, sort of, the titanium, just sort of sings a bit as you're rolling along. But it's just so comfortable. One of the things I gave a lot of thought to when I bought this was obviously the weight penalty. This bike is a big rig, disc brakes, it's probably an extra kilo, somewhere around 9 kilos all up. But let's be honest, weight is such a small factor. Pretty sure I could lose a kilo pretty quickly if I had to. But I think the weight distribution on this bike, I took out some KOMs on this bike, which I've not taken out on my inverted commas climbing bike. So something about the way that it rides. I don't know if it's stiffness. As soon as you see a review, everyone's talking about stiffness. But if you're riding a top end bike, stiffness is good. This does have through axles. I'm not sure I totally understand that, which has been well documented. But it does give you, stiffness where you would normally have a standard skewer. So let's talk ride quality. And I think there's an interesting thing you get with a good quality titanium frame. And a year or so ago I did a review on the Alchemy Eros, which is like a 10 grand titanium bike. And what this has and that bike, I'll give you this a bit more comfortable. You get that combination of like a forgiving ride, which is a combination of the frame itself, and with the Curve it's the way that it works in conjunction with carbon rims as well. It gives you a really forgiving ride, which obviously makes it comfortable, particularly for longer rides. And that's really why Curve are synonymous with adventure stuff, indie pack, race to the rock, all these kind of iconic, cool, long distance, styly adventure races. So the comfort is second to none, there's no doubt about it. But what I don't find is that it's not like a compromise. You don't feel like, and based on my power numbers and times and stuff like that, you're not losing anything in terms of punchiness, speed. The frame's still giving you what you need there. You still feel you're getting 100% of the energy that you're putting out going onto the road. And that's quite a cool combination. I think what more do you need? Now the second and most important factor for me with the Curve is the versatility, in that you can ride this bike everywhere. And I really mean that. I mean, I've just come up this hill and I feel pretty confident not going around the road here, just going straight on, straight to that farmer's field. Just crack on, just keep going, lad. Because you can ride this on road, you can ride this off road, cobbles, you name it. And I know this for a fact because this is the bike I took to Melbourne when I went there late last year. And I was fortunate enough to meet the Curve guys. And I mean, they are truly living, breathing, eating what they're putting out there. You know, they are living it. And they couldn't have been nicer to me. And that doesn't influence this review, but it helps that people are nice and that they're riding the bikes that they make, and they're riding them in the way that they say they can be ridden. They do a ride there called the Tuesday Night Champs, and it is just a hammer fest up and down the road there, the main road, pretty much full gas. And then first thing Wednesday morning, getting up and doing a ride called the Belgie ride, which is pretty well known around Melbourne for being a sort of, I guess you'd call it, I mean, probably the most terrifying ride I've ever done. It was an off-road ride, and it was properly off-road. I'm talking like gnarly stuff that someone with handling, as you know, I'm a triathlete, my handling's terrible. I'd have been scared on a mountain bike. But I turned up on this bike with these tyres and I was able to get around it. It's actually taught me a lot about cycling, just that one ride, in terms of what you can and can't do on a bike. You know, in this country, in the UK, I feel worried, you know, if I go near a blooming pothole, you know, pinch punches and the like, but this was able to just eat up any terrain. And then the day after, again, I was back on another group ride in the hills out north of Melbourne. You know, with the same tyres, the same bike, the same setup, didn't change anything. And that is true versatility, which for me has been a game changer. I mean, it's rendered a few of my bikes pretty redundant, but that's what you get with this bike, and that's the thing you get with quality of titanium. Quality of wheels is obviously important, especially when you're on the road, but the feel of the bike, on-road, off-road, and you know, today to be able to take a sort of trail path, jump on some cobbles, or the cobbles that I could find, and I'm not even worrying about, you know, this kind of stuff here. That's a really, really great thing. And I think the biggest selling point for this bike is it is that one bike. You know, these days, you know, there is a big shift towards gravel, adventure, off-road bikes. But to me, this is the bike. You could just happily have this bike. I'd race on the road with this. You know, I'm not going to get dropped because of the bike. I might get dropped because I'm out of shape, overweight, haven't trained hard enough. But it's not going to be this bike that makes that happen. So for me, this is a cracking bike, and it delivers on all the things that you're promised when you buy it. And it comes with a sort of lifestyle element that you sort of start to live and embrace and enjoy. So that was a bit of waffle, but the bottom line is it's a really quite a good bike, and I enjoy riding it more than any of my other bikes. So that's pretty telling. Anyway, more riding. I'm so gnarly, I'm going to go through this puddle. Yeah. Test done. So now, in the interest of completeness, to finish this review up, we need to find our version of the Arenberg trench to give this review the full Flandrian flavour. Flandrian flavour. And really put this bike through its paces. And I know just a place. Let's hit this. I think we can all agree that was pretty comprehensive. Okay, so in the interest of balance, there's a couple of things, two things I think that I would bring to your attention for negatives, and they're not really to do with the bike itself. The first of those for me is the cable job on this, which I know could be amended and changed, and you could actually get new bars and do a full internal cable routing through here. But for me, this cable job just looks untidy, if I had to be critical. But as I said, you could definitely turn this to a full internal cabling going through the stem and through the internal routing within the bike. But yeah, for me that just looks a little bit scrappy. And the other thing is, you know, it comes from Australia. It takes quite a long time to get hold of it, and you just need to be aware of that process. You know, if you're itching for a new bike, it's not an off-the-shelf bike, so you just need to be aware of that and factor that into when you're going to order one, if and when, because we know you're gonna order one. How nice is that? So yeah, I hope that's been helpful. Any questions, comments, criticisms, thoughts, ponderings, ideas, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.